Tim, Jonathan said earlier this week, one of the emphasis this spring is trying to figure out how to improve the takeaway piece. What kind of things do you need to do to make that happen?
Well, the biggest thing that we're talking about with the takeaways is for the fumbles is trying to create more violence on the ball carrier when we make tackles and trying to just get our guys to cut loose and play fast and be more aggressive in their approach to the tackle. And that's really how when we did our study, a lot of teams are causing more fumbles. And then the second thing is getting more pressure on the quarterback, which translates to hopefully more interceptions. And so working on our pass rush games, being able to, get in his face and not let him complete a clean throwing motion will hopefully lead to more interceptions.
How close do you feel like this defense is becoming, really dominant and making a difference in getting the opposing offense off the field?
Yeah, that's certainly obviously the goal that we're shooting for. I think looking at where we're at right now, we have, as far as the amount of talent and depth, the most that we've had since Coach Smith and I have been here. And so that's exciting for us. And, we've got some steps to make before we can get there, but that's certainly our goal.
Going back to what you said about wanting to have those more violent tackles, who do you think on the team does a really good job of that?
Well, I think our two inside backers in particular, Avery and Omar, both do a real good job of bringing some violence with their tackling. And so we just got to get more of that across the board at multiple positions of guys. And the biggest thing is we've changed a little bit talking how we talk about approaching a ball carrier to try to cut our guys loose and let them play faster and not play timid and not worry about missing the tackle, but just go ahead and shoot your gun and play fast and aggressive. And then we got to count on the rest of the guys running their tail off to get over there and cover you if you do miss the tackle.
Coach, there were a couple instances today where I saw Jaden Grant kind of coaching on the other younger guys in the field. How important has his leadership and experience been when it's such a strange spring ball season?
Critical. Jaden, I mean, the amount of growth that young man has had since we've been here is incredible. And the kind of leadership he has, and because he does so many things from a leadership standpoint, and the way he leads by his own holding himself accountable, he's able to go out there and coach those young guys and be a coach on the field for us and correct them. And guys don't take offense to it because they know he knows what he's talking about. He's put in the time, and he's just trying to help them perform better out in the football field.
Tim, Coach, staying in the secondary. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Carter. Go ahead, Carter. You're good.
All right. Yeah. Staying in the secondary there, with so many guys leaving from last year's group, it looks like there's a lot of opportunities for some of the younger guys to kind of step into bigger roles. Who are some of the guys that you're kind of looking for to make that leap?
Yeah, well, I mean, really, we only lost two guys from, that played a ton of football for us last year. I mean, Nashon was the one starter, and then Dunny was a rotating starter. And so, but, certainly we got some guys, obviously, EJ coming from Kansas is a guy that we're hoping who can make a big contribution for us as a transfer. And we've got Alton Julian, who got some reps last year. We need him to make a big jump. And then Rajon Wright is another guy that we're hoping for big things from him in the secondary this year.
In terms of the edge rusher position, who do you see kind of being the closest kind of similar prototype to Ham, kind of that bendy edge guy who could step into that spot?
Yeah, I don't know if we got one guy that's going to be, exactly like Ham, but that position can come in all kinds of different body types. And, we still got a bunch of guys who played a lot of football. Obviously, Anjay coming back, it's going to be his sixth fall. Looking for him to make a jump in his game, and he started almost every single game for us last year. John McCartan has gained some nice weight and still able to move well. Riley Sharp, is looking good out there. We moved Corey Stover from defensive end to outside linebacker. And so looking for him to, once he gets his kind of sea legs underneath him at the new position, being able to add some pass rush for us there on the edge. And so we've got a pretty good group of guys coming back. And then we got some, guys who were injured for us last year that hopefully can contribute this year, with two guys being Addison Gums and Ryan Frankie. They're both coming off of injury and missed all of last season. That can add some real depth for us and possibly be some major contributors for us.
Looks like Evan Bennett added a little bit of weight. What are you hoping, sort of improvement are you hoping to see from him this spring?
Yeah, to see him make that jump and to be a full-time contributor where he's playing in every single, week, and whether you're starting or you're coming in off the bench and logging some major snaps, he's a guy that we thought a lot of when he was coming out of high school and still do. And it's time for him to make that jump and be a major contributor for us in this defense, and adding the weight, the strength, and those kinds of things. And then just his understanding of the defense, I think is at the best that it's been since he's been here.
Omar, I'm curious, when you just sort of went through the video of last year, breaking down how you played, where did you feel like you were really good, and where did you feel like you need to improve? And I'm talking personally, I'm not talking about defense overall.
I think I did really good just being like assignment sound, being in my fit, making plays and stuff like that. But some things where I could be better is just block destruction, and you can always get better at tackling. So, and just being more of a instinctive player, like knowing what's coming before it even comes. So that's just watching more film.
Your brother's back this spring.
Yeah.
What's that been like?
It's been good to watch him work. He been out for a long time, so I'm glad that he able to come back and get some work in.
Omar, what kind of leads you to believe the defense can take a big jump this year?
I think we got a lot of like good leaders coming back. Just people that been around, like good, like the past 3 years, we got probably about 10 guys that were starting coming back probably. So I just think like everybody taking that leadership role and just getting the young people right, again, everybody to buy in and work hard every day. So I think just leading right, that'll get us to take the next jump because we got the talent. So I think it's just buying in.
Can you kind of put into words how different this team is on that leadership front compared to when you first got here?
I think it's people like a lot of people like myself just settled into the defense. Like I've been in it. I'm going on my 3rd year now. It's people that's been in it longer than me. So I think it's just people tired of finishing below 500. So I think people just ready to win. So I think just taking that next step, everybody just want to get all in.
Omar, what do you think about the young guys, the newcomers? How have they adjusted to Corvallis campus and this whole spring ball routine?
They adjusted pretty well. I think it's kind of been weird because some of them came in and they first year it was COVID, quarantine, everything. So, but for the most part, they adjusted good, I'd say.
Anything else for Omar?
Omar, Tibbs was just talking about how you guys obviously want to create more takeaways. I know that's been the goal for a while. But what does that look like differently in workouts and practice? Like, what kind of drills or work are you guys doing that is kind of dictating that and emphasizing that?
We got like takeaway circuits and stuff like that where we work on like peanut punch and stuff like that. But I think the most important thing is just being aware of the ball. Like when you're going to make a tackle, like always trying to make an attempt at the ball because you might not make every single attempt that you make, but it's going to come out some of them times. So I think just being ball aware and attacking it.
Hey, Simon, kind of echoing off of what Omar just said, obviously this defense is really ready to take the next step. What does that look like? Like, how different has the vibe been around camp so far?
So far, it's really good. We really come together. We're really just flying around, having fun, especially like chasing. And you see that in comparison to like previous years. We're starting off at a completely different level, a step up, just ready to go this time.
Why do you think that is? What do you think? Like you said, you're already at that different level.
I think it's kind of just started. We kind of just came together. It's more being able to bond, especially like after these like 2 years, just more of this hunger that we see that we're so much more than like what we have shown. And I think everybody just wants to show it now.
How comfortable are you personally going into, what is it, your third year with Tibbs? Just how much better do you feel in this system?
I like it. I really like it. Just like we're trying to, every little puzzle piece is falling in where it should be. And it's just like, I feel great in the system.
And you're finally healthy. I know you've had kind of injury stuff going into a lot of the off seasons that you've been here. How nice is that?
Everything is good. I'm feeling 100%. I'm ready to go.
Simon, can you talk about the defensive line? Do you think there's a bit of a responsibility to kind of up the production a little bit this year?
There's always a up the production. There's always a pressure on us to do it, and especially like what we've had previously. But of course, we're gonna ball out. That's what we're gonna do.
Simon, is there a young guy or two that, I know it's early in spring, I really haven't done any hitting or anything like that, but a guy that looks like he's really starting to get it and is maybe starting to move his way into getting some playing time?
I think all of it, like everybody's taking a step forward, and especially we see EB, we see Nusi, we have a new freshman coming in who's kind of still a deer in the headlights, but everybody else is just taking this next step up. Everybody's improving, so it's not necessarily just a young guy, but like the entire group as a whole is taking this next step, and especially like we're gonna do it.
Simon, seeing that last year's spring ball season didn't happen, and there's so much depth on the defensive side of the roster, how excited does that make you guys feel? I mean, you said you're hungry, but what does it mean to you guys as a whole?
To have a lot of depth.
To have depth, but to be able to have spring ball finally after 1 year of not being able to.
Oh yeah, of course. We want to play ball. Like that's what we're here for. Of course, we just want to be here and just take like every opportunity we have to get better at what we're doing, and like it's just having the depth of course helps because it makes practice smoother. It makes just everything float way more in practice, and you can tell like we went through practice today and we're like, oh, we're already done because everything is just flowing better in comparison to like previous years, and also like everybody's excited. We didn't have spring ball last year. Everybody was home.
Is COVID still affecting what you guys were able to do in the off season?
Of course, it affects the entire country.
But I mean, were you guys in the gym less, in the weight room less than you would have been during a typical off season? Or is that restricted in any way still? Or are you able to get
everything? Everything is restricted. It's just like there's Oregon laws. We gotta have a mask on when we're inside buildings, when we are working out. We get tested. Everything else is going on just like you see in other conferences. What you saw in basketball as well. Like everything is restricted.
Simon, personnel-wise, the front seven looks, mostly the same as last year. How much do you think that continuity is going to help the defense as a whole kind of take a step forward and keep progressing?
I think if you look at it, you're going to see the numbers whenever they come out, but like most of the guys have gotten bigger, and just like being able to get bigger and stronger was going to help us across the board, especially as a defensive lineman and linebackers, just knowing each other, knowing how we communicate to each other, and just knowing what the calls are, how they function. Everything is just more of a clockwork. I think like going from last year to this year. So it's just like we all know each other out there. So it's just smooth.